In the last 8 months, ladies and gentlemen, we here in Malaysia witnessed the entire one MDB saga, the $2.6 billion saga. Interesting issue, but another issue which cropped up behind it, which I think warrants us to think about the practical impact of what happened. We all remember, apabila isu ini berbangkit, 1MDB, Tony Poa telah pun bercakap berkenaan dengan isu ini bukan dalam 2013 saja. Kalau saya tak silap dalam 2009, if I'm not mistaken, or thereabouts. For years he's been speaking about it in Parliament. No one did anything. Until there was an expose by the Wall Street Journal, it became an international topic of discussion, questions asked because the funds were funds that were alleged to have gone all over the world. Apakah berlaku masa itu? Yang berlaku, kita lihat Perdana Menteri kita, Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak, beliau setuju. Dia kata, okay, very serious allegation, suddenly, very serious allegation. We have to set up what is known as a special task force. Special task force ini terdiri daripada 4 orang, kesemua mereka ketua yang peringkat tertinggi dalam bidang-bidang khusus mereka. We have the IGP, we have the Governor of Bank Negara, we have the head of MACC, and we have, of course, the Attorney General. The highest officers of all those organizations roped in together. Why? To check one thing. Is there $2.6 billion in a particular person's account? And if so, why it is there and whether an offense has been committed? Simple. Saya tak faham kenapa diperlukan supaya 4 ketua ini, mereka ini semua dikumpul, diwujudkan satu special task force bagi tujuan tersebut. But we all saw it happen right before our eyes. Masa itu saya sudah pun tanya soalan. I think a few of you realize I written statements asking the Prime Minister to tell us what is the scope of their duty. Mereka kata tak apa, kita akan siasat. Bagi masa kita akan siasat. Mereka siasat beberapa bulan. And suddenly there is this talk about charge sheets. Overnight we see how it is. There is a change even in the Attorney General's chambers. And after that, new AG comes in, and of course he says Prime Minister cleared of wrongdoing. What does this tell you? Sarawak does not have its own Attorney General for the purposes of prosecutions. In Malaysia, the AG is here. In respect of these 4 agencies, the same 4 agencies work throughout Malaysia. Persoalan yang berbangkit adalah ini. Isu-isu yang kita sebut berkenaan dengan masalah di Sarawak. Masalah yang surrounds the government. The problems which we speak about in respect of land, in respect of logging, in respect of matters in which no action has been taken. Do you really think action will be taken? If you have Adnan Satim and no opposition, no strong opposition, apa yang kita perlu faham adalah ini. Untuk kita memastikan satu kerajaan itu bertindak dalam keadaan yang baik, tanpa adanya rasuah, tanpa adanya kerakusan, 2 perkara penting. 1, kita kena pastikan kita ada pembangkang yang kuat di mana maklumat yang terlibat itu boleh dibangkitkan oleh mereka. The first thing is for us to make sure we have a strong opposition so that all these local issues can be raised, not just at the local level, a state assembly, but also through the members of parliament here at the federal level. Itu satu. Keduanya, dengan maklumat ini kita perlu ada satu pembangkang yang kuat untuk membawa tekanan. Make sure that here at national level all those problems there are resolved in the sense that those responsible hold up and action taken against them. That is what we want to see. But ladies and gentlemen, apa yang kita lihat sekarang adalah satu kempen di mana Perdana Menteri yang menjadi itu, the Prime Minister seems to be the center of attraction as well. Kalau kita beri satu undi kepada Adnan Satim, itu adalah satu undi untuk Najib juga. Apa yang kita kena faham adalah ini adalah pilihan raya, seperti mana saya sebut bila saya mula tadi. At the outset of my speech, I said, this elections is important, it's a test. Because we are coming out of the 1 MDB issue. We are coming out of the 2.6 donation issue, 2.6 billion donation issue. Now Najib is going to use Sarawak as a test for his popularity. It's not so much Adnan Satim probably 81%. But Najib is going to say that an election victory there, a big victory there, means the people of Malaysia support him in full. So kita sebagai rakyat Malaysia, kita kena lihat kepada keadaan politik. Bukan saja localize cukup penting, saya setuju. Kita dalam DAP, kita bukan mula sekarang. We have been there for years in Sarawak. Most of our leaders walked around in Sarawak, and I think here, perhaps we should also note, with thanks to the extensive efforts by Tony Poa and his team in Impian Sarawak. We see the videos earlier. Kenapa dilakukan sedemikian? Kenapa diungkitkan sedemikian? Kerana kita telah pun lawan dalam pilihan raya di peringkat negeri di Sarawak berkali-kali. Di situ seperti mana Tony sebut tadi, bila kita sebagai ahli politik sebut berkenaan dengan masalah rakyat, mereka kata itu adalah tomahan ahli politik pembangkang. Tapi kali ini berbeza. Kali ini kita menunjukkan rakyat kawasan tempatan yang membawa isu-isu itu dengan cukup jelas menyatakan apakah masalah tersebut, kenapakah dalam tahun-tahun ini dalam pimpinan Barisan Nasional masalah mereka sama kalau tidak lebih teruk, dan perlunya untuk rakyat memilih dengan pintar. So this time is different because we show by way of videos the local people, our brothers and sisters there speaking up, telling us the problems. Ini satu. Tapi kedua, and this is also as important, at a national level, what are we going to do in order to make sure that those complaints that we often see about the happenings in Sarawak, I don't have to go beyond what Tony has said earlier. Are we just going to sit back and say, all right, it's a localized problem, nothing can be done, nothing has been done, and we are just going to allow that to happen? We cannot do that. We are responsible for this whole country. We are responsible for the generations to come. We are responsible for how resources in this country are managed. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it's not for me and you individually, but it's for the future of this country. So this is why we say, what is important now, apa yang cukup penting adalah untuk kita fikir. Pilihan raya bukan setakat kita keluar dan buat undi kerana satu orang yang kita lihat seolah-olah orang yang baik. We must remember that in order for us to succeed, we have to now begin our battle for the next general elections as well. Tuan-tuan puan, kita semua masih ingat dalam tahun 2008 apa yang berlaku. Kita menang. First time we were able to rid BN of the 2/3 majority in parliament. Nobody thought of it possible. Tak ada siapa-siapa yang ingat, yang fikir boleh berlaku. But it happened. And of course those wins started in Sarawak, if you remember. Likewise in 2013 as well. Again, the spirit that we saw in Sarawak in the elections before that, it spread here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a similar situation, because after this we go to GE14. We must not forget scandals like 1MDB. We must understand its impact it has on us. We must not forget that many of the problems in Sarawak we see today is because certain leaders have been allowed to do as they please for years without any action taken against them. That is not right. And we here in the DAP, we say that in the event we take over later on in Putrajaya, those will be issues that we will want to deal with as well. We will want to make sure that those responsible for losses there in Sarawak are brought to book for it. Jadi di sini saya harap bahawa kita faham. Yes, I agree. In the state elections, the primary focal point are local issues. There's no doubt. We understand the living conditions of our friends there. We have seen it. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, in order for us to bring about that change, we must start in Sarawak. We must, in these elections, tell Najib that we need to see a change in the federal government if we want actual change in this country. The starting point is for our brothers and sisters in Sarawak to understand that they themselves have gone through the same problems. Not just now, not just in the last 1-2 years with Adnan Satim, not in the last 30 years, but even before that. So how do we change this? Where do we start? Unfortunately, I'm not in Sarawak, so I have to speak to you all and of course speak to the crowds in Sabah and Sarawak over Skype. I see very enthusiastic crowds there. But I hope, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that we will not overlook those little points that are most significant in elections. Number one, all of us here, we have a role to play. Dan saya minta kepada semua di sini. Kalau kita tahu kita ada kawan-kawan, rakan-rakan, sahabat, ahli keluarga daripada Sarawak, kita kena hantar message kepada mereka. We cannot just sit and listen to the speeches and to, of course, the callings. We need to be proactive. All of us here, we must play our roles. Go back today, check if we have friends from Sarawak, make sure we get in touch with them and tell them they must go back because every single vote will count in these elections. Semua undi penting dalam pilihan raya ini. Kita mesti memberikan semangat kepada sahabat-sahabat kita daripada Sarawak yang ada di sini supaya balik ke Sarawak untuk undi. That we have to do. So I hope all of us here, after hearing what the leaders, what we have to say tonight, and what the other leaders who are of course speaking out from Sarawak itself have had to say in the last week or so, I hope all of you here and all of those listening to this ceramah tonight from Sarawak or elsewhere, I hope all of us will also take part. Let us make sure that we, from today onwards, we still have 6 days. Let us do our part. Let us call upon our friends. Let us call upon our friends here in Semenanjung. Let us call upon our friends in Sarawak to make sure that we have the numbers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I can go beyond that, but I think I come back to where I started off for me to end. These elections is a test. Most of you here are also wondering, and I can tell you, you're not alone. Even we are wondering, what will the actual impact of Adnan Satim be? Will it destroy hope for the opposition in Sarawak? Or will we be able to persevere and break through that Adnan barrier and show everybody that come what may, Malaysians are aware of what's happening at a national level, and they are aware of the fact that what happens at a national level will have an impact in every single state of this country. Let us now start in Sarawak. Let us call to our friends to rise, to make sure we have the numbers to win there, so that we can bring that victory back here and make sure that in the next elections here, we take over Putrajaya. Turn around! Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I thank you very much for helping us, supporting us. Thank you very much for coming tonight. Saya Seniman, Nandri Wanakam. Terima kasih.